Hey everybody, Derek back here again from D&J's Epic Quest with another Bare Bones episode for you. Today I'm going to briefly talk about A Cup of Tea at the Mouth of Hell, which is by Luke Tarzian, who a little ways back I had an interview with him after I read Adjacent Monsters, which is a two-book set, or I guess a duology, two books in one. And I really liked his writing style, and so this was the first thing that he wrote or published, anyways, I think is what he told me. So I decided to check it out. It is a short book, about 80 pages. I think I read it in roughly an hour, maybe a little longer. If you're a fast reader, you could probably plow through this pretty quick. I wasn't sure if I was going to do an episode on this book because it is a very emotional book. It is personal, but I like Luke's writing style a lot. So this one I didn't jot anything down like I did with the Advent of Winter, so everything is just kind of coming free flowing off my brain here. Like I said, I didn't know if I was going to do this or not, but I decided I would give myself a day, kind of process this book and see how I felt about it. So this book is about Lucifer, the devil, losing his tea kettle and kind of the journey to find it, but it's a lot more than that as well. He's got his little companion demon named Stoudemire McCloud that he takes with him on this as he's looking for his tea kettle. And that's the majority of the story, but the last few pages are, I guess they would be like journal entries that are from Luke himself. When he went through a really rough time when his mother died. And so they're very personal, very emotional. I don't know any other words to say it. Very raw, what he was going through at that time. And I think it was a pretty brave thing to put those in the book just to get them out there. I've never gone through anything like that. So I can't relate. I mean, I've lost grandparents and uncle, but I mean, in my case, my parents are still alive, thankfully for me right now. I know someday I'll go through that. I've watched my wife go through it, her losing her dad. And, as Luke says in here, grief for everybody is very different, and there's not a right or wrong way to deal with it. Him writing this stuff down, I feel like it must have been very cathartic for him to just write it down, but then to put that out there for other people to read. I don't know that I would be able to do that, to let somebody in to my brain like that, what I was going through at that time. The story definitely has its moments where it's funny, almost, I guess, absurdist. And I don't want there to be any like negative connotation about that. Just the stuff that, he comes up with here. There's a forest. And if you've read this, you will know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, and you decide to read it, you will immediately know what I'm talking about. Like, there's not many things that make me laugh out loud when I'm actually reading, but this was one of them. Another thing that Luke pointed out in this book when he was going through the writing process of this, everybody who, I guess, like proofread this or was like a beta reader or advanced reader, whatever term you want to use, he said everybody cried. I did not have that experience. There's definitely things that will make me emotional. And maybe these other people, maybe they had lost somebody close to them as well. And so this stuff just hit home to them. I felt things when I read this book for sure. I don't want you to think I'm some cold, emotionless person, but I definitely, my heart sank when I read this stuff. And, especially these journal entries towards the back, it's certainly heartbreaking, hard to read, difficult, but I guess I didn't cry. So Luke, definitely not a shot at your writing. I could feel the emotion that you put into this. It's very real, and so I appreciated that. This book, I bought it physically. It was like $12 off Amazon. Otherwise, it's a couple bucks if you get it on Kindle. I would say it's definitely worth checking out if you want something that is that emotional read, something that's going to hit you in the feels. but also something that's in a lot of ways very lighthearted and that you can read quickly. Like I said, I read this in, probably an hour, maybe a little longer, and I'm not a very fast reader. I think that is all the thoughts I have for you on this book. I don't know how to summarize it much more beyond that. Like I said, I didn't jot anything down. This is all just free flowing for me today. But if you have any thoughts on this book, if you've read it, I would love to hear them. If you like these types of episodes, I would love to hear that as well. If you have any feedback, please let me know. Also, if you haven't, we would love to have you subscribe to us, check us out, and like the video, help us out, help us get this content out, to a wider reach. So thank you, everybody, and hope you have a good rest of your day.